Welcome to the Lifeline podcast. I'm pulling a double header today. We had some amazing guests prior to, but we also have another amazing guest with me. This is actually one of my oldest friends, right? She's actually one of my oldest friends. So we may cut up on this one, right? You know what? I'm going to allow herself to introduce herself because, I know her. So I may be a little shady in my introduction. So I'm just going to allow her to introduce herself. She has a lot of wonderful things going on a serious note. She's an author. She's a poet. She's a real estate agent. She's a scientist. She's she's a fireman, firewoman, all that. But all jokes aside, but she has a lot of amazing things going on. I'm really, really proud of her and her growth and where she is at this current juncture in her life. So go ahead, just introduce yourself.
Well, hey, my name is Delsy. Thanks, Dante,
You're
for
welcome.
that amazing introduction.
Yeah, I do a good job at that. I do a good job.
Whatever. So that's funny because a lot of people always say, like, what is it that you do? Because I do a lot, I guess. But I would say all together, I'm a spoken word artist. I'm an author, real estate agent. I'm a connector. Like,
Right.
one of my good friends calls me the conduit because I have this thing where I just connect people to other people that
yep.
need help. And that's me. So, yeah.
So what's so amazing about us being in this space right now is that we're actually bringing things almost full circle because we would have these conversations, something similar to these conversations like years ago when you used to try to like school me on like relationships and stuff. All the time, try to school me. And we used to sit down in like Red Lobster or like Applebee's or something like that. Like, yeah, Dante, you need to do this. You need to do that. And I used to be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. It was good advice, though. I'm gonna tell you, it was good advice,
Hey.
but I really rarely took the advice. But
Okay, you're married now.
I'm married now.
Okay,
but
so-
your advice,
I might not
your
take
advice
mine.
led me to being married, right? You would take that credit for that.
Yep.
But no, her advice did help me develop into the mature man that I am today because I was very immature.
Very immature.
I was very immature.
Very
I was-
immature.
all right, you don't have to echo the stuff that I'm saying, all right? I was very immature. But like the person that you see today wasn't the person that she knew back in the day. So she knows that other side of me that was very immature. But I'm grateful unto God. I have to give God all the praise and the honor for that. But for now, you have written a book.
I have, yeah.
And what's the title of the book?
It's called Diary of a Pastor's Kid, Stereotype versus Reality.
Ooh. Diary of a Pastor's Kid. So tell us about the book, and then we'll kind of dig into some of the details of it.
Okay, so Diary of a Pastor's Kid. I actually started writing this a long time ago,
Okay.
and it's been hard trying to release because I feel like there's so much.
It's
There's
a lot.
so much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot to, yeah.
It's a lot to unpack. Like,
You need
I have,
a part 2, part 3, and all that. Yeah,
like
for sure.
I wrote 7 chapters originally, and I'm still struggling because it was supposed to be released during the pandemic, and a lot of things happened. With marketing, I wasn't sure if it was the right time.
Right.
When was the right time? I did the book. It was just a lot of transitions, marketing and stuff like that, and it was just tough. And even through writing it, there's a lot of healing. There's a lot of things that I felt like.
And those wounds, like when you start to write stuff,
Yeah.
the stuff that you forgot that you were hurt over,
Yeah.
you kind of peel those scabs back and you really start to deal with some hurt that you swept under the rug.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, there was one thing I wrote about that I never even spoke about to anyone, not even my dad. Like, so I had to sit down with him one time and say, "Hey, Dad, this is what happened. This is how I felt."
Wow.
Before I could even think to finish publishing a book or anything like that, and that was hard.
How was that conversation like with your dad? Because as pastors' children, they're also our parents.
Yeah.
So you hold your parents in a certain light, in a certain regard. So certain conversations is hard to have. Maybe if that was just your pastor and not your father, that conversation would have been a little more smoother. But because that's a parent, it's a little tougher.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt like I held it for so long, one, because I felt like I was more concerned about how people would receive him or about everyone else but me.
The picture of everyone else.
What that's supposed to look like.
Right,
And
right.
everyone looking at me a certain way or the family a certain way or just worried about everyone else but me.
Right.
And so when I had a conversation with him, it was just more so because of how deep it is, and when the book is out and you're able to read it, then you'll, I don't want to spoil it.
Right,
but because
right.
of how deep it was, I could tell that there was built-in anger, not towards me, but towards what had happened. But he was just quiet. It was just like a shock to him, because I feel like there's a lot of times where I don't know that they know that we have a lot of things that we have to say or we ain't really say
Correct.
deal
That's
with.
true. That's true.
So it was just more so like, damn.
And what a lot of people don't understand is that pastors' children, we deal with a lot of trauma sometimes, and it's a lot of traumatic experiences with people coming in and out of the church, being under a lot of pressure, having to have a certain look, speak a certain type of way, making sure you're getting good grades in school. Your social life really isn't what it is, because your life is really centered around not only God but the church. And being a drummer, musician, usher, cleaning, when everyone's gone, you're still there. So there's some experiences that happen in the church itself that could be traumatic, when people leaving
extremely.
and being rude to your parents, or your parents pouring so much into them, and then they just stab them in the back. Like these things happen,
they happen. Like,
and it affects us as children.
It does,
because our minds are not mature enough to comprehend what's going on. So, without spoiling, the book in its entirety, what are some of the things that you talk about in the book, directly?
I talk about, so I have a chapter, growing pains. So I talk about, and that I talk about, some people think like, okay, we pastors' kids, so everything is supposed to be like perfect.
Right.
Not knowing that there's a lot of other things that we go through. So I do tap into how it was growing up for me. Like I have 6 brothers. We're all different,
Correct.
And so one of them, for example, he was incarcerated 8 years ago. He actually was just released, so I'm happy,
Shout out to him. Welcome home. Welcome home.
He just was released in February 13th. He came home after 8 years.
Wow.
So, dealing with a lot of that when growing up, like that one
that
sibling
one, right, that's not around.
Like,
yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, for sure.
So I tap into like, just because I'm in church or whatever, my dad is a pastor, doesn't mean that these things, at the end of the day, he made his own decision. Doesn't mean that my dad didn't teach him right, or he didn't have any morals, or anyone that loved him. Like these are just real struggles that we all internally deal with. But at the end of the day, we make the choice. We have to make that choice to choose God or choose another route. And thankfully God kept him, protecting him. He ended up getting his degree in there. So
shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him for sure.
It's like it was a struggle back then, but maybe God was protecting him, he may not be here right now if he was still in the streets.
That's true.
So there's a lot of things I speak about in regards to that, growing pains, how it looks, like how it's supposed to be versus that. Or even like for me in school, like I wore, like I was the, I guess, outcast, because I ain't look like everybody. I didn't have any jewelry. My hair was always a certain way. Like,
you was straight, like the straight holiness, Pentecostal,
OD.
knee skirt down to your knee, and all of that. So you wore prayer cloth to school and all that.
And all of that, yeah.
And all the kids
covered.
was throwing rocks and stuff at you and bricks.
It was like, it's mad cold outside. And then my mother used to be like, just tell him this Holy Spirit keeps your legs warm. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that in school. That
like,
my
parents just think that it's okay. Like, oh yeah, that's the perfect thing to say to your friends that's like 14 and 15, and they're going to be cool with like, oh really, the Holy Spirit?
Going to keep my legs warm. They're going to make fun of me like crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
So I talk about those things, those fun moments. That's one of the chapters. I can't. But,
that's funny.
Yeah.
But so, like I said before, with writing the book, there is a lot of things that you have to uncover. And how did you deal with that internally? And what were some of the methods you used with going back to deal with some of those traumas? Because you got to relive it. When you write it out, you got to actually put yourself in that moment and relive what happened. And sometimes there's some things that we just don't want to relive. We want to forget about it. So how was it, internalizing and dealing with reliving those moments?
Yeah, I think I'm still reliving those moments. I have a chapter that is called Identity Crisis, and where I talk about how we were raised, but me not truly knowing who I was in God or my purpose. Like it was more so like growing up, a lot of things, I didn't even understand a lot of things, but I was told, there was prophecies and all of these things, but I didn't understand who I was. I didn't understand my gifts.
Right.
And so that's why it was so hard, because I felt like I was still developing that.
Yeah.
I feel like now, God is helping me understand more and more and more what my purpose truly is, but I didn't know what that looked like when I started writing it. Now I feel like completion. Now I feel like it's complete because I have more of a grasp, and everything is aligning.
Right.
The way I feel like God is intending it in my faith, and I'm putting in the work. So it's a lot of stuff that comes with it. But yeah, I feel like I'm still healing. I'm still living through everything that's going on.
So what are you doing to I mean, I know prayer, the word of God, fasting, praying, all of these things are essential to our healing process. But what are you doing to go through, that healing process of, is it talking more? Is it utilizing your poetry and, pouring into that to sort of express some of that hurt and kind of let it seep out some?
Yeah, I write a lot. So one, yes, poetry. They get them bars. Any relationship I've been in, I'm writing about you. Nah, but I'm joking. But
Mary J. Blige. They say Mary J. Blige make the best music when she just got hurt. But go ahead.
I be in my complete bag. But so that's one. Two, I never thought that I would do therapy. Like I started doing therapy during the pandemic.
Okay.
I don't know if because being in the house kind of forced me to really get in my thoughts a lot.
Which is a lot of people had to do that. Yeah.
And coming out of a traumatic, like a bad relationship, it was just more so like I need to do some work. So I spent a lot of time by myself. I took a lot of walks, and then I started going to therapy. I didn't think it was gonna work for me. The first time I did therapy, I was just like, she's not talking back. Like I'm just talking.
Right, you talking.
I'm here. I'm like,
and you waiting for them it's like a dialogue kind of thing.
Like
conversation.
You to your friends and someone, they talk back.
Right.
But the beauty of listening, she just really listened to me and helped me get my thoughts out and to articulate a lot of things. So therapy was big for me, and for me it works. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's scary because you still maybe the first therapist may not be the one for you. Maybe you have to go through.
And you have to be vulnerable in those moments. Like that's crazy. You have to be vulnerable to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy that we can be vulnerable to a complete stranger, but we can't be vulnerable to people that we know and people that we're close to? It's like we try to put on this facade in front of them.
Yeah.
But for someone we don't know, we just so open and just releasing everything that's within us.
That's true.
And you hit on a very important piece we talked about. It was a bad breakup. And then you had to utilize therapy, go on walks. Like though that bad breakup, that's how you were able to cope, right?
Yeah.
And get over whatever that you were dealing with.
Yeah.
So any advice that you have for single women or women that's just coming out of relationships, concerning what you can do to kind of get past that area?
It's tough. Like I gotta say that first. Like heartbreaks, trauma, going through that is so hard because there's this desire of love and then not finding it, and you don't want to start all over. So it's accepting where you're at and being okay with saying, yo, I'm hurt. Like I'm hurt.
That's it.
Because a lot of us walk around saying, I'm good. Like it's all good. I don't need no, like that's not the real, the real is just saying I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Good. Yeah. And then taking those steps. Like I wouldn't say venting to the world never really helps. Because sometimes, again, with the comfortability, you find yourself talking to a stranger because some people don't really know how to pour in. They may be good friends. They may give advice, but sometimes they don't know how to listen or don't know how to respond to certain things. And it comes off certain ways, and they may not mean it in a certain way, but it's just it's not what they're doing. It's not what they're called to do. So for me, like, I would say, really take the time to accept where you're at. And find something that you love to do. Like find your passion. For me, it was poetry. I told someone I knew, that was going through a rough time. Like, hey, like, what is it that you love? She told me what it was. Now, present tense, she has her own business. She built on that. And that it may
Impressive.
She may not be completely healed, but she did create something to distract her or to help her at least get to that place little by little where she could walk away.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And for those that are out there, the women that are out there that are single, I know that and I have this conversation all the time with some of my friends. It's like, women today sometimes almost have an unrealistic expectation of what they want in a man, right? So because of that, they say things like, oh, there's no men out here. There's no good men out here. But there are men out here, it's just that you just don't really want the ones that's available.
Yeah.
So the question is, like, especially women in church. I'm not biased against women in church, but it's like, okay, he gotta know the Lord, love the Lord. He gotta be super tough. He gotta have a beard. He gotta all of this stuff that has nothing to do as to whether or not he can make your heart smile.
Right.
All of these physical attributes has nothing to do if he's compatible with your personality, can make you smile, can provide for you as an individual. My question is, and I'm pretty sure for all the single men that's out there, especially the single men that's in church, that's like, y'all keep saying there's no men out here, and I'm right here. Come on, give Ronald a try. You know what I'm saying? Give Cliff an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that women have such difficult expectations for men in church, especially men in church? Because I got a friend, she's like, I'll be sitting to her like dudes that's single, and she be like, yeah,
I was
no,
like that too. Like,
yeah, nah.
I'm good, Dante.
I sent you a couple,
Yeah,
and you turned. Let me tell the story real quick. You know what story I'm about to tell?
What?
The story I told, right? So Delsy, whatever, cool, peoples. Hey, I think this dude would be good for you. Sent her a picture. First thing she said was, ew, where's his beard? You remember that? Don't lie. You don't lie. The first thing you said was, ew, where is his beard? Don't know the man from a hole in the wall. What's that again?
I said he must have looked really young.
No, my dear sister. You said, ew, where is his beard? Not where does he work? Not is he a good guy? Not are you putting your stamp of approval on him? It was the first thing you said was, ill, where is his beard?
That was my immature days. I'm in a different space now.
All right, so if I was to sent that again, you would
maybe, I would have
maybe not lie on the Lifeline podcast.
I would have looked. I look deep. I look way deeper now.
Okay.
I was shallow.
Okay.
I'll admit it. I hold myself accountable. I feel like maybe I was a little shallow, or maybe I was a little more picky. Because I remember one of my friends back in the day, she was like, Delsy, I remember you told this guy, like, no, I'm not going to talk to him because he had dunks on, right? So I was just like, yo, I never said that. I don't dunks, like the sneakers. But at the time,
no, but I know what dunks are.
Yeah, but at the time, I guess they weren't in. I don't know. But that was just a shallow me. Well, I'm not like that no more. That's
crazy.
What it is now, what we were looking for, it was appearance. Like, you just wanted somebody to look good with. And what it felt like in the beginning, like that feeling. There was no like deeper. I feel like some women don't go too deep into thinking like, what do they need? Like, what fruits do they need for this relationship to grow?
Right. Correct.
As I'm getting older, I'm like, well, as I'm gracefully aging, my birthday was just last week. Because we don't tell our age. As I'm gracefully aging.
As she's gracefully aging. Right. Continue.
I feel like now I'm looking for things to what is going to, because past the surface, like what's going to hold this relationship together.
Correct.
Friendship. Like, I'm not going to look at a guy and be like, oh my God, he doesn't have this, like, appearance wise. I mean, you do want someone that's attractive.
Right. You want to be somebody that you're attracted to. That's a given.
Yeah. But it's also praying about the fruits, like the things that you need for sure. I know I need someone that is able to, I need someone that's a little bit, not emotional, but able to kind of like,
you want an emo. That's what you want. You want a
want
man that's like,
Delsy, I was just thinking
the other day, I seen a flower and it reminded me of you.
I want someone that thinks, like, I'm a planner.
Right.
So I'm always taking initiative. I want somebody to be like, it's okay, you don't have to do it. Like, let me be that person for you.
Someone that's considerate.
Yes, I want someone considerate.
Someone that's considerate.
I want someone intentional because, I've dated a guy. I remember he's such a great guy. But then I was just like, what are your intentions? What do you want? He was just like, well, I'm nice. I'm just a good guy I'm just a nice person. This is a church person.
A
you know
church
what I'm saying?
guy.
Who's in church praying for each other and everything. But now when I'm asking about what are your intentions?
Like, where we going with this?
You literally have no intentions. And for me, I'm like, I expected maybe that was me having expectations, but I would have thought that you would have been more intentional. And so, like, I think that's what it is, just trying to find someone that's intentional about you, that loves you, loves God, and is able to pour. Because if you're pouring, like, and they're not pouring back, then it's just kind of like,
That's true.
So I think most women, we want the guy that looks great. But it's more so like, what could you pour into me? Like,
so what do you suggest for the women that are single and waiting? Like, what are some of the things that they should be doing at this particular juncture? Like, I'm single, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the Lord, but what should they be doing as they're waiting?
First, don't look. Like, don't go looking. I mean, some people do dating sites and all that. I personally never really did, because I just didn't feel like.
Wait, you too good for Christian mingle?
No.
Pentecostal mingle.
It's not for me. If you do it, fine. Like, may the
no
Lord,
shade for
no shade.
nobody that's
May
on
God
holiness
bless you.
hookup. You in a holiness hookup.
Because I know some people that they really made it off of connecting on social media. We live in a social media world. Right. But for me, I just didn't want to feel like I was looking for something. I felt like, God, if this is yours, like, just, like, not send him, but send him. Like, I just want it to appear. I want it to feel organic, and that we're connected and we're getting to know each other. So I'll say, like, stop looking, get in tune with yourself. I spent a lot of time, and I didn't believe that too. I used to be like, I'm good. If I find somebody that's ready, it's about, he got to be ready. I'm good.
Right.
I'm already ready, but I wasn't, because I kept attracting people that, like, if I'm in a certain state, I was attracting those same people, like, in that state.
That's so crazy that that was about to be my next point of emphasis.
Yeah.
That sometimes we think that the people within our 5-block radius is the world. Like, and it's not the world. Like, oh, there's no good men. Yeah, but there's no good men in the 4 churches you keep visiting, or the 5 churches in your organization.
Yeah.
Or the same restaurants you frequent.
Yeah.
But like you said, which is crazy, that even in a different state, different name, same guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You're attracting, like, where you are at. And that, for me, if I'm unhealed, I'm in a space. Prime example, I was dating a guy. I was in a relationship with someone who didn't believe, right? I had this conversation with Dante.
For the record, and I don't even know if this guy's going to be watching this.
He could.
But no disrespect, I told her, like, that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even like me coming from, I didn't even know what you look like or what he looked like. When you said that he's not a believer, like I believe, and it's like, okay, this is going to be a little difficult. You know what I'm saying? But she can continue with the story. I hate to say I told you so, but go ahead.
I realized that I was in a state where my spiritual relationship I wasn't strong, like, spiritually. I had a lot of questions. I was in this space where I wasn't going to church like that. I was just in this confused space where I didn't know where I was with God, which is why it was so easy for me to attract someone who seemed like he knew what exactly. He was very educated. Like, let me tell you, a lot of people that don't believe, they really read the word.
Yeah. They can tell it to you better than some people that are believers. Yeah.
Big facts. And because I wasn't strong in my faith, I attracted someone who, like, it's weird, but I attracted someone who kind of wasn't really, he thought he was strong, but he wasn't really strong in his faith. He had a lot of questions. That's why he was seeking. So now I'm with someone, like, I'm unhealed. He's not healed. There's a lot of traumas. We both don't really know what we believe in. And there you go. You have that relationship, and it's unequally yoked. Yeah. Or whatever. So I had to get to a place where I'm just like, I don't want this. Moved on. And I'm looking at myself like, why did I attract that? Well, I wasn't strong spiritually. Like, I questioned a lot of things about my faith at that time. So that's why it was easy for me to attract somebody that's an Israelite, no shade. But
no shade to the Black Israelites.
No
I don't want y'all popping up to the church and they just saying, that Lifeline podcast, they don't believe in Black Israelites. Listen, brothers, you know what I'm saying? We love y'all too, man. We love y'all too.
Right. I don't even know if he was an Israelite per se, but it was just a lot of things that related to that. But yeah, so I feel like in waiting or trying to find someone, I would just say, like, heal yourself. Like, try to do things for you, like, that you love. I love poetry. I write. I find, like, you know, I started doing like, I remember one time I wanted to like learn like these dance moves. I started doing like dance classes. It's like whatever you feel like you want to do, just explore and like get into with yourself. It's okay to go out to eat by yourself. Like I used to do like brunch dates alone, and I didn't think I needed to be alone. I would tell, like, all my friends will tell you, they'll be like, Delsy, like, she swears she don't need her time alone. But that is the biggest thing, because then you don't become dependent on like your partner. Correct. Even in a relationship, you still know how to give space.
Yeah, for sure. But that's dope, because I even went on a date with myself one time. I went to IHOP, and I got myself a coffee, some pancakes, and it was so peaceful. It's like, yo, I could just think to myself and just you know organize my thoughts and everything. Because I used to look at people who go on dates by themselves like they weirdos.
Mad weird, right?
It's like, oh, you don't got no friends, like no one wants to sit with you. But it literally is therapeutic, because you get an opportunity to slow down the world, and you get to internalize everything and really think and recenter and refocus and everything, and things of that nature. As you have progressed and now your mindset has changed towards what you're looking for in a male counterpart, that has changed and that has transitioned. What else in your life has changed and transitioned as you find yourself aging gracefully? Not aging gracefully. What was the thing you
gracefully
said?
Aging.
Gracefully aging. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Whatever.
Gracefully aging. You know, shout out to you. Your birthday was last week.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sheena. Today is her birthday, actually. So shout out to her, Sheena. But what are some of the things that you've seen that, you know, you've matured in? What areas? Like you see life differently now?
Yeah, I see life differently. In general, like with people who I partner with, like with connections, relationships building, friendships, family, like I realize I'm learning more and more, even when I'm discovering like what I need, what I deserve in a relationship.
What you deserve, yeah.
It's more so like in friendships too, and in business partnerships too, like just kind of asking God for direction, so that way I'm finding my tribe, the people that are supposed to. And I do feel like in a certain stage, and at certain stages in life, like sometimes you don't see certain people for a long period of time, but that's because there's something, maybe God is working with that person in the space, or you're just in this seasons. And you know, when we're both back in that space now, here's the connection again, and we continue to grow. So that's one thing I'm realizing, like to accept the space that you're in. And understand that process, that God may be keeping you in a certain space to help develop other gifts or other stuff. Like, because I got in a car accident about 2 years ago, 2021. I really thought, that was the one moment I thought I really was going to die. Like 2021, I was in Florida supporting my brother because he's getting married. And we was at a wedding shower, and we was on our way back to Miami. We was in Fort Lauderdale. Driving his current wife was driving. Out of nowhere, I just heard like screaming, and that was it. It was like a blackout. And so all I know.
So the when I was getting married, got into an accident.
Yeah.
Too?
So she was driving a car. An X5 came and hit us on the highway. Car is on fire. I'm in the passenger seat. I didn't know because I was unconscious until I heard someone knocking on the door. So I look. It was a guy dressed in all white. I swear. I'm like. I grabbed the door from the inside and opened it, but they was trying to get me out because the car was on fire. So they pulled me out like really quick. I didn't even know my foot was fractured in 3 places. And so like I'm in the hospital. I'm just like, didn't understand because I sat on the side because he lifted me up and put me on the side of the highway as we're waiting for the ambulance to come. And I'm seeing the car burn, and I'm sitting there like I'm in Florida. Like the first thing I thought about was my parents, my life, because I couldn't breathe. My body was tight. I thought I really literally almost lost my life.
Lost your life.
And so when I went to the emergency room, and I realized my toes was done, and I couldn't walk. So now I'm on crutches. I had a boot. When I came back to New York, I was so sad and depressed. I didn't really understand the stillness. Like I didn't know why I was in this predicament.
In this situation.
I'm like, yo, I'm doing this. Like, my book about to come out. And then boom. Like, now I can't go nowhere the whole entire summer. So what I'm understanding is the stillness. Like, you know, what it means, what God means when he says be still. That is what the main thing that I'm learning in this season, and as I'm growing.
That's powerful.
You know, is how to understand those moments of stillness and what God is really trying to show you in those moments.
That's powerful. You put the plug in. So go ahead, plug everything, anything that you got going on, what you got coming up. Just go ahead and go ahead and be the plug star.
Yes. So, yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Call Me Delsy. I am a real estate agent. On my Call Me Delsy page, you could probably, I have my email, my information there. So you could definitely reach out if you're looking for homes in New York, outside of New York, Cali, Maryland, Florida, Atlanta, wherever it is that you want to move. I'm able to help in that. Even people that right now are dealing with like Section 8 programs, like whatever it is, like you can definitely tap in. And then, yes, my book, it was supposed to be released last year, the year before that, but now we're doing an official launch June 1st. Now, that you're going to be able to find on Amazon. You'll be able to get hard copies when we do the actual release. And yeah, I'll probably be at a church near you. You feel me?
She does an excellent job with spoken word. So
that too, yeah.
She's very, very talented in that area.
I have 2 songs streaming. So I have a poem called Self Love that's streaming on iTunes, Tidal, Spotify, and all of that. And I have a new song, single called Black Kings that's also streaming on Tidal, Spotify, iTunes. So download it.
That's dope. That's dope. She has a lot of things that's going on with her. Again, I'm so proud of you. So proud of your growth and where you're going in your career and with your life. I'm like I tell her all the time, we always talk about when she get married. So if you out there and you dating Delsy, where's the ring at, bruh? Where the ring at, bruh? Soon. But yeah, if she get it soon, so it's cool. So we can set up this whole wedding thing and all. I can help her out a little bit. I could be like the wedding planner. Yeah, now the roles have reversed because before she used to try to be my relationship guru and all of that, and I ended up getting married. So
first, right?
Yeah, but how ironic is that? But anyway, it's all good.
God, uses
he does
people,
things. He does. He uses people to help him mature and all of that. So it's cool,
right? And now I'm mature.
Now we both mature adults. I'm glad at our growth that we're both mature adults.
Look at God. Look at God.
So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be here with my friend and my sister. This was an excellent conversation. Time flew by. That's how you know you have a good conversation because time just flew. We already went over our time, but it's all good. So we got to do part 2 again soon. After the book comes out, we want you to come back and we could talk about the real details of the book because we don't want to give away all the details because then why would you buy the book if she gives you everything, right? So again, thank you. Let me give you a 5. Appreciate you, Delsy. Till next time, thank you for joining the Lifeline podcast. Have a blessed one, folks. There you go.